We're here again with a little break in the action at Dan Rather Reports, and as we often do, talking news, this time with Mark Lagenga. Mark is one of the world's great cameramen, or in the vernacular of cameramen, a great shooter. Although the word shooter is usually applied to still cameramen. And Mark is a master of pictures that wiggle, which is to say, moving pictures. We're just back from the Persian Gulf, where among other things, we flew to Bahrain, which has a huge U.S. military base. We went aboard the carrier, the USS Carl Vinson, and sailed through the Hormuz Straits, that very small strait which moves about 20 to 30% of the world's oil and gas through that strait. So we went to the region primarily to see what the U.S. Navy was doing to run up the flag and in effect say to the Iranians, think carefully about what you do because we're here. Bahrain itself, there's a movement from below to democratize the government. The effort from above is to keep the lid on, if you will. So we want to do something about Bahrain itself. In addition to talking about what the U.S. military is doing in the region, we'll talk about Bahrain. And Mark, you've got some remarkable pictures, really remarkable photographs of this effort by those who want to democratize the country, what they face in terms of the crackdown on themselves. Let's talk about how that works. We came back off the carrier to Bahrain, and your assignment, along with Caroline Cooper, who was a reporter-producer on the piece, and myself and others, but your assignment was, let's find out what's going on the streets. So take us from the beginning. How did that work? How did you get access? How did you manage to get these good pictures?
Caroline found two journalists that we profiled, and through the two journalists, we hooked up with a gentleman, Mohammed. He quit his IT job just to protest.
I believe in this cause because I believe that we deserve democracy. We deserve to be equal.
So we followed him around for 3 days, I believe, 2 nights, 3 days, and every single night, the same thing happens. The people in the neighborhood set up barricades in the road, so the trick was for us to go with Mohammed before the barricades get set up. Now, they're set up by the village to try to keep the government officials away.
Well, they don't succeed very much looking at the pictures. The police and the military move in, use tear gas, among other things.
We've covered quite a number of protests, and I've never seen so much tear gas fired. The amount of tear gas that they kept lobbing into this tiny little neighborhood was pretty amazing.
You're not going to say it, Mark, but let me say to you that are watching this, that Mark has seen tear gas in his time, and when he says he's never seen so much tear gas, that tells you right away there was a lot of tear gas. Well, tell me how that works. You're there, you realize they're going to use tear gas. The average person would have said, time for me to adios out of here.
Well, I mean, we're following the characters in the story. So, you just try to get as many moments on tape as possible. But for the little kids and the elderly folks in the apartments who can't leave, we could leave. I mean, there was times where we couldn't leave, but we don't have to live in that area. The folks that couldn't leave are the ones that really get the worst effect of it.
Well, now, at least some of the time, you would set the camera up in what looks like somebody's apartment. You could open the window, and you get what I believe to be the most valuable television shot, a high shot. So you're in somebody's house, somebody's apartment, window open, and you're shooting through the window down on the action on the street.
One of the things that always in that part of the world is no matter where you're at, everyone just opens their home. They know you're a foreign journalist. They know that if they're caught giving you help, really bad things are going to happen to them. But nobody hesitated to open their door and let, whether it was myself or the journalist or Mohammed, inside just to get out of the commotion for a while.
I'd like for you to explain to people what makes a good television cameraman.
You can see pictures of the protest on the internet. I mean, everybody nowadays has a cell phone camera, and the activists and the government side are all shooting it. What we try to do is figure out why people are doing this. Mohammed, one of the folks we're profiling, goes to these protests every single day. So trying to get a sense of why he does this and visually just show what's involved in him going to this protest, because people get killed, and not by accident.
Mark, thanks.
Thank you.
If you've got it, watch it. If you don't, call your TV provider to get HDNet today.